Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Hey, everyone.
You know how it is you blink and the tech landscape shifts. It moves so fast.
It really does. Hard to keep up sometimes.
Exactly. So today, we've sifted through a pile of news to bring you the key developments, the stuff that really seems to matter if you're trying to keep a pulse on this world.
Yeah, the important bits.
Consider this your shortcut to staying informed, hopefully with a bit of fun along the way.
Absolutely. And we've got some fascinating updates today that are definitely more than just headlines. We're looking at how AI is evolving, especially for the folks building things. Developers, exactly. And some interesting moves around data and privacy, maybe a bit of corporate intrigue.
Oh, always like a bit of drama.
Right. And even a look at AI kind of stepping into the physical world. So the goal is, like you said, give that deeper context, the why this matters, maybe spark a few aha moments.
Sounds good. All right, let's kick things off with the AI front. OpenAI specifically. Sounds like they've rolled out a new suite of GPT 4.1 models.
Okay.
There's the standard, a mini, and even a nano. Now, these aren't popping up in our regular ChatGPT chats just yet, are they? Seems more like tools for developers.
Yeah, that's the core of it. This whole GPT 4.1 family standard, mini, nano, it's really tailored for developers using OpenAI's API.
Okay.
What's significant, well, a couple things. They've enhanced how well these models handle coding tasks and follow complex instructions, better precision there. But maybe the biggest leap really is the context window. It's expanded up to 1 million tokens now.
Whoa, okay, 1 million tokens.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean in practice? Like, how much is that?
It's huge. Think of it like an AI being able to read and understand basically a whole book, a substantial one, all in one go.
Right.
So this opens up completely new possibilities for, say, processing massive amounts of information or keeping track of really long conversations or super complex coding projects.
So for a developer, they could feed it a giant code base and get like really detailed help finding bugs or adding features because it remembers everything.
Precisely. That ability to maintain context, to understand all the fiddly bits and dependencies in a complex system, it's just much better than before.
Okay.
And then there's the GPT 4.1 Nano. You mentioned that one. It's actually their cheapest API model so far.
Cheaper is always interesting.
It really is. This could be a real democratizing force. It could let smaller teams, even individual developers, get their hands on pretty cutting-edge AI without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I can see that. Think about the projects that might suddenly become feasible if cost isn't such a huge barrier.
Exactly, the innovation that could unlock.
So just to be clear, though, we won't see a GPT 4.1 button in our everyday chat GPT.
Yeah.
But the improvements, they're kind of trickling down.
Yeah, the advancements happening like under the hood, they are being integrated into GPT 4.0. So we are still seeing the benefits just, indirectly. And for anyone who really likes to tinker, the OpenAI Playground, that's the place to actually test drive these new API models directly.
Gotcha. Playground for the developers, improvements for the rest of us in GPT 4.0. Makes sense.
Right. It's that kind of tiered approach. Developers get early access to the specialized stuff, and the general user experience gets better over time.
Okay.
Now, shifting gears a bit, but still in the AI development world, let's talk about Apple's strategy.
Yes, Apple. And predictably, it involves our data, doesn't it?
It often does.
They're planning to analyze user data on our devices to make their AI smarter. Things like summarizing emails. That always makes people a little uneasy, me included.
And it's understandable why, but Apple is really emphasizing a privacy-first approach here, or trying to.
Oh, so.
The crucial detail they're stressing is that they won't be directly accessing the actual content of your emails.
Okay. So how does it learn that?
Yeah. Instead, they'll use techniques to compare your email data patterns with synthesized data. Think of it like they create artificial data sets based on general email patterns, not by reading your specific chat about, your fantasy football pick.
Okay. So my brilliant detailed analysis of why my opponent's QB choice was terrible is safe.
That's really
reassuring.
Theoretically, yes.
But this analysis, it only happens if users agree to share device analytics, right?
Yeah.
It's not automatic. You have to opt in.
Exactly right. That's key. This whole process is tied to whether you've explicitly consented to share that device analytics data with Apple.
Right.
It's the balance they're trying to strike, Improve the AI, but respect privacy. The fact it requires that explicit consent is important. It highlights that whole ongoing debate in the industry, doesn't it? Responsible AI data use.
Yeah, how do we let AI learn without just giving away all our privacy? It's a constant juggling act.
It really is.
Okay, now, let's move to something that feels less like a balance and more like well, a straight-up privacy red flag. This incident with a Lyft passenger in Toronto. She apparently received a text transcript of her private conversation inside the car.
Oof. Yeah, I saw that. That is unsettling.
Unsettling is a good word. She called it freaky, which sounds about right.
I can imagine just having a conversation you assume is private and then bam, it shows up as text. Freaky indeed.
And she also mentioned the driver apparently didn't tell them they might be recorded.
Yeah, that adds another layer of concern, right? The lack of transparency just erodes trust completely.
Totally. Like, a heads up seems like the absolute minimum. Lyft has acknowledged it happened, but reports say they offered, quote, varying explanations. That doesn't sound great.
No, varying explanations rarely inspires confidence. It suggests maybe they weren't clear internally or maybe, yeah, trying to downplay how serious it was.
And a former privacy commissioner weighed in, calling it completely unacceptable.
As they should. It really highlights the seriousness. This whole thing is just a stark reminder, isn't it? How easily tech can overstep, how crucial robust privacy rules and clear communication are, especially when you're recording or transmitting personal stuff.
Definitely. Wow. Makes you think twice.
It does. What's kind of fascinating in a worrying way is how easily our private space, our conversations can be compromised, sometimes accidentally, sometimes maybe not, by the tech we rely on.
Gives you pause. Okay, switching gears again. Let's talk some corporate drama. Behind closed doors, or maybe not so close.
Intrigue time.
The legal battle between Rippling and Deal. Specifically, Rippling trying to serve the Deal CEO, Alex Byte-Sized, with lawsuit papers. Sounds like a real game of cat and mouse.
It really does. So Rippling is suing Deal, right? They allege Deal paid an employee to basically spy on them. Corporate espionage claims.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah. And the latest twist is just trying to get the legal papers to the CEO, Alex Byte-Sized. Apparently, French bailiffs couldn't find him at his address in France initially.
So playing hard to get. Where did he turn up?
Well, recent reports put him in Dubai.
Dubai. Okay.
Right.
And Dubai has a bit of a reputation, doesn't it, for being tricky territory for things like extradition or international legal stuff.
It does have that reputation, yeah. Whether fair or not entirely, it definitely adds an interesting dimension to this dispute. It just highlights how complex international lawsuits can be, you know? Trying to hold people accountable across borders.
It really raises questions about how effective legal systems are when people can just move around globally.
Exactly. It's a challenge.
Dubai. Definitely a plot twist there. Okay, from legal spats to massive antitrust showdowns, the FTC's case against Meta is actually underway now.
Yes, the big one.
And their goal is huge. They want to potentially unwind Meta's acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp. That's ambitious.
Monumental is probably the word. Yeah, the FTC's argument is essentially that Meta built an illegal monopoly in social media.
How so?
By buying Instagram and WhatsApp, they argue Meta eliminated major potential competitors, which stifled innovation and ultimately harmed us, the consumers. So yeah, they want to try and turn back the clock, competitively speaking.
But Meta's obviously fighting back. Their argument is that the FTC is ignoring the current reality, right? Like YouTube, TikTok. They're huge competitors now.
Precisely. Meta's whole defense rests on showing that the social networking market is still super dynamic, very competitive. They point to all the pressure from platforms like YouTube and especially TikTok, you know, with short-form video booming.
So they're saying the market looks totally different now than when they bought Instagram and WhatsApp.
Pretty much. They argue the market has evolved so much that those old monopoly claims just don't apply anymore. This trial is going to be fascinating. It's a real test of how these older antitrust laws apply to the modern, fast-changing tech world.
Yeah, the outcome could have massive ripples for the future of social media, no question.
For sure.
Okay, finally, let's touch on something a bit unexpected, maybe. Hugging Face, the big name in open source AI.
Yeah, the hub for models and tools.
They've acquired a robotics company, Pollen Robotics. Hugging Face getting into hardware.
It is a significant step for them. Hugging Face has been mostly about software, right? Making AI models accessible.
Right.
So buying Pollen Robotics, who are known for their open source humanoid robot, Reachy 2, yeah, that marks their entry into the physical world, robotics.
Okay, why is that compelling? What's the angle?
Well, think about the potential synergy. Imagine taking Hugging Face's enormous library of AI models and seamlessly integrating them with open-source robot platforms like Reachy.
Ah, so plug-and-play AI brains for open robots.
Kind of. It could dramatically speed up the development of more sophisticated robots, make them more accessible for research, for education, maybe even for everyday stuff down the line.
So the dream of building your own smart robot could get a lot closer, using open source AI from Hugging Face and open source hardware.
That seems to be the idea. It could really lower the barrier to entry for innovation in robotics.
That actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it fits right in with Hugging Face's whole mission of democratizing AI, just extending it now into robotics, combining open software and open hardware. It could really spark a new wave of innovation, collaboration.
Interesting. Suggests the future where AI isn't just on screens, but like walking around.
Potentially, yeah. A long-term vision where AI interacts with the physical world much more directly.
Well, that was quite the tour. We've covered foundational AI model updates, the tricky world of data privacy with Apple.
That unsettling Lyft story.
Right. The corporate cat and mouse game. The massive Meta antitrust trial.
And ending on AI meeting robotics, it's a lot.
It really shows how fast this landscape is moving, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And all the different forces shaping where tech goes next.
Absolutely. And hopefully for everyone listening, it gives a glimpse into those key trends, the challenges, the things shaping the tech we'll all be using soon.
Yeah, whether it's thinking about new AI tools or being more aware of digital privacy.
Or even just seeing the potential in open source robots. Staying informed is, well, it's pretty crucial.
Couldn't agree more. Well, thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
If you enjoyed this deep dive into the latest tech news, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe for more insightful discussions. We always appreciate you joining us.